All right. In this episode, I've got something really cool. It's a coaching session with a couple, Anya and Bodhi. They're back. It's been 3 years since I've seen them. If you want to check out that episode, go to 364 of our podcast to hear the first session. And in the first session, they were, Bodhi was 1 foot in, 1 foot out. And Anya was like, dude, are we or aren't we? Well, 3 years later, they are both in a very committed relationship, and it feels pretty secure to me and strong. And they're very, as you'll see here and listen, they're very willing and able. They're using great communication. They're really trying to understand each other. This is not a high conflict couple. This is a couple that, like a lot of us, just struggles with some of the reactions that we have toward one another. And some, like, how do I balance what I want to do and consider my partner at the same time? How do I be true to myself and get what I want? So I think you're going to enjoy this. I didn't do hardly any coaching because these two are doing so well without my assistance. Only toward the latter half of the session do I offer a few things that I think are valuable. So I'll make a few comments as we go, but I just encourage you to listen for the things that, just the way they're speaking, so that you can adopt and employ this in your own relationship. Thanks for doing this. This is going to help people. Your last episode did. And it's, I like to kind of, let's come back and check in with you guys and see where you're at, you know? All right. So episode 364, we had you two here. You were in it a little bit. I think we were dealing with like a 1 foot in, 1 foot out type of situation. If I remember right. So say your names again and say, I guess, how long you've been together and what's going on now.
Sure. I'm Anya.
I'm Bodhi.
We live just north of San Francisco in the Bay Area, and we've been together for...
almost 4 years. 4 years next month.
Yeah, amazing. And just for the listener who might or might not remember episode 364, what was going on in that episode and what happened? And then we'll get to the current.
Mm-hmm.
Damn, I don't even... I guess it was just like just what you just said, the 1 foot out, 1 foot in deal.
For you mostly, right?
Yeah, for me, just the indecision piece, kind of me being definitely the more, back then at least, the more avoidant, and you being the more anxious, and it really being like my first super committed relationship. And we jumped in pretty quick. I think 1.5 years before that episode.
Mm-hmm.
So it was just figuring out the ropes of how to actually do it.
Yeah. And to add, we started living together like right away.
Yeah.
It was right at the beginning of the pandemic. And I came from a place of just not being resourced to myself. I mean, I was working full time. I was working like 2 jobs back then, but I was a little bit in like a housing crisis. I didn't have anywhere to go. And it was like, okay, this just makes the most sense. But we definitely felt the impact of moving so quick.
Yeah.
Shortly after, it was like intense honeymoon phase. I feel like for the first like 2 or 3 months, and then month 3 we're like, oh gosh, what do we do?
Yeah. And Anya, turn to Bodhi, and just in your recollection, what had him step further into this and be more all in? Let's take a crack at that, and let's see how close you are.
Sure. Do you want me to just reflect back to him?
Yeah, here's what I saw. Here's how you got through that kind of thing.
Okay.
Solid.
I like it. Oh, I'm nervous. Okay. Yeah, I think. I mean, I know. Yeah. it was really like, I feel like January, February of last year, it felt like we came to a more solid place. And I felt like, I just saw you, or I witnessed you getting to a place of more clarity and stepping forward. After I stepped back and I finally got to a place of, wow, I actually can be okay without Bodhi. And like, I will be okay if without you, even though that was so heartbreaking for me. And I ended up moving to Hawaii, as you know, just for like, flew over there for a couple weeks. And I think in that stepping back, I really saw that you were able to move forward and express maybe some of your deeper feelings that you hadn't.
Yeah. That's beautiful.
Yeah.
Does that sound about right, Bodhi?
Absolutely. Yeah. I think early last year was definitely a turning point.
And what did she spoke about it there a minute ago, but what did she do, like, from in your eyes, that had you, that shift inside?
Can I give a little explanation about what we were going through? Do you feel comfortable?
Sure. I don't know what it is, but
No, just the, parting and yeah. Well, so we took a month probably.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's some good context.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We took a month apart early last year.
This is last year, 2023.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. After.
Yeah. Right in January.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Or moving into like a place that, like moved into a solid, like living situation that, and not working out.
Yeah.
We just moved in and then like 2 months.
But we got to experience that together, kind of more of a, I don't know, a feeling of autonomy together. Which I feel brought us closer. But yeah, so we, it did. And then, I don't know, I kind of just trying to recall like it wasn't working up at that place as much as it was great for us. And I just started going through a really challenging time in myself. Not feeling like I could support myself how I needed to, not having that kind of just rooted, grounded confidence in my being. And so we stepped away from the relationship for a month, and I got a lot of clarity in that time, in that short period of time. Just realizing how indecisive I had been for so long, and that was the only problem. That it wasn't a problem of am I going to be better just by myself, or am I going to be better in the relationship? It was just a matter of choice, right? Like just choosing something and just like doing it, right? Not in the daily,
and just like, living with the consequences of your choice, right?
Yes. So we chose to step away for a month.
But to clarify, it wasn't like we're taking a pause. It was like,
it was like we're
done.
Yeah, we're done. And then obviously, like there's those after a part like that in a relationship that you've been in for however long,
it's like,
committed, or somewhat committed, right? Committed on the loyalty aspect, but in terms of like, so then I just I'm just trying to figure out like what that coming back together was. It was that feeling of like the space between us. I had felt closer to her in that space than I had in a long time. Just giving myself that space to kind of be with just myself and what I wanted and how I wanted to move forward. And so I brought it up to her that I wanted to like really just go all in and not go back and forth anymore.
This is during the breakup you said that.
Yes.
So you took his call. You were open to hearing him out.
Yeah, it was on Christmas. I got a text from him.
It was on Christmas?
Well, it was on Christmas that we had taken that break. We weren't talking.
Yeah.
It was challenging because
I thought it was the end of January.
Well, that part was,
Okay.
but we got back in contact on Christmas.
Right. Yeah.
And then, it was the night before I left for Hawaii. You were like, we had that conversation.
Mhm.
I remember,
Yeah.
and you were like,
Yeah.
I want to do this and I want to go all in.
Yeah.
And I was like, great, but I'm still going.
Yeah. Yeah.
You were like, great, but what?
But I'm still going. Like, I had booked a flight to Kauai, and I was like, I didn't expect that, just because, throughout the 3 years, he was like my best friend. I mean, not like you were my best friend.
Yeah.
So challenging to take that space. But I feel like I trusted so much in God, and I solidified that aspect of faith for myself, and trusting myself. Like, it was really good for me to have that time. But when he told me that, it kind of rocked me, because in the past I would be like, okay, I'm going to cancel my flight and let's do this. But
I wasn't really supportive of that. Right. Like, I was like, we were like, we should just, you should experience that.
Yeah. You brought me to the airport, and
It was totally heartbreaking and everything, but
so I was like,
yeah.
And how long did you go to Hawaii for?
I was there for like, what, 5 weeks, 4 weeks?
Yeah.
A month. Yeah. And then I came back for a bit.
But like, the living stuff was still super challenging. So she went back, and I was just like kind of dredging here, like just trying to get through it over here.
Yeah. You were going to either come to Kauai and we were going to live out there, or I was going to come back. And I ended up, I didn't lose my job, but just the structure of the whole business changed, and it
just totally threw you off.
Yeah. And so I was like, okay, I'm just going to come back to the Bay Area, and then we've been together ever since.
Yeah. Obviously not without challenges, but it's just like that, like, sense of just moving forward together now.
Yeah.
So just for the listener, I think this is important, because there's people struggling in, what was your situation. Then we'll get current with what you want help with right now. But just to reflect back, what I got from you, Bodhi, is that you, somewhere inside, you were like tired of your own indecisiveness.
Yes.
And you were like, part of my maturity and my growth on my journey is to decide things and deal with the consequences.
Yes.
And you chose to go all in.
Yes.
And then, Anya, for you, it seemed like what I heard was you got okay being without him.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And somehow that was empowering for you and your part.
Yeah, it was empowering for me. Just, I think a big aspect of it was letting go of this, or learning how to release this subconscious control that I was gripping so tightly of trying to control the relationship by overfunctioning and doing everything, and just always being there. And I got to a place of such intense heartbreak because we had that back and forth so much that I was like, I'm done abandoning myself. And it was more I'm to myself. Yeah. And through a lot of like hypnotherapy and somatic work, I got to a place of like, wow, this whole time I've been trying to control everything. And what if I just don't control it? Then it's so much easier.
Wow. And look what happened, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I just want to point out to the listener that you two actually had to grow individually with your own issues, contributing to the stuckness of indecision. And you did, and something major changed. And it could have been that the change was, we're apart forever now. And that still could have been really good news, because you want to be with people who want to be with you.
Exactly.
But it just so happened that it worked out. So amazing.
It is amazing.
Yeah, that's really inspiring. Yeah, similar to my wife and I's story, you guys probably have heard. So, all right, bring us up to right now. What can if there was one, let's spend just a little bit of time here. Maybe there's something I can help you with, because Anya, you reached out and you're like, yeah, there's, you guys are in a good place. So this is great. You're not in the shitter, and the relationship's not about to end, which is awesome.
Right.
And like any good couple that you are now, you also still struggle like the rest of us at times. So what can I help with?
Yeah.
I'm open to if you want to bring up anything.
Okay. Yeah, I think it's funny when we were filling out the form, we're like,
oh, we were really
sitting with it. Yeah. We're like, what do we want to work on? Because I feel like we had so much conflict in the past that we would just have a whole book to write. Right? And now we're like, wait, we're doing pretty good.
Yeah.
Not that things don't come up, but I feel like we resolve them so much more quickly than we had in the past. Conflicts don't last for days and weeks on end. It's, by the end of the day, we talk it out. So, and that release, like, I just want to mention, in my mind, I'm like, oh, it doesn't affect Bodhi at all. It's just so stressful for me. And like coming to the realization that actually it did affect him.
Yeah.
It just helped me get closer to you too, and release some of that anger and just frustration, towards you. But anyway, what we want to work on, I think
total frustration,
nice anger. Maybe just, I think, again, we talked about this before we were doing the form.
What did we fill out in the form? What did we put down? Remember?
Yeah. Because we kind of got into something as we were filling it out, but it was essentially the gist of it is, okay, cool. Thanks, Jayson.
Yeah, go ahead. The gist of it.
Yeah, I think the gist of it was, I'm just going to frame it for myself. If I get into a spot of feeling like a more fight response, if we're talking fight, flight, freeze, in something that I bring up, I bring that to the space between us. Maybe if I'm just frustrated with something, and then if Bodhi shuts down and goes into freeze, I go what we call business mode, which shuts them down even more, where I'm like, look, it's boo-boo-doo-doo-doo, and it's like I'm doing business with them, and that doesn't work. So
yeah, he doesn't feel your heart behind it.
Yeah, but I'm like,
I do know. I've like witnessed. I experienced it so much though, to this point of like,
so much so.
Well, it's both of us, right?
Yeah.
But on my part, it was super easy for me to just like.
Yeah. Oh, you're going business mode? Okay.
Like no.
Shut off. Yeah.
But
lockdown.
It's much more rewarding to just like just take a breath and just kind of like allow that frustration a bit, not like get trampled necessarily, but just like okay, let's just let's take our first step and not me reacting to what maybe that's more of your reaction, but it's like where we get stuck a lot is I would have a really strong reaction to her reaction, or she, vice versa.
Very common. Yeah. The reaction to the reaction, the trigger to the trigger, right?
Yeah. And not being able to just like, okay, this is like, an important thing that's coming up for you right now. So, I'm not necessarily 100% like open in my heart at the moment, but I know that, there's at least the first step that we can take, which is usually just like, reminding ourselves that we're more of a, we're a team and not against each other, but for each other.
Yeah.
I love that. Okay. Well, what's the thing then?
Thing.
Maybe let's bring up just that instance when we were sitting here and we were like talking about going to Bali.
Yeah.
And what that would look like. Do you remember that moment where?
Can you just speak to it a little? I'm just.
Yeah, where. Well, I have such a hard time recalling this right now. So we were talking I'm just going to tell you too, Jayson, we were talking about going to Bali and living there. And Bodhi, you had brought up just like this tension or fear of well, I should say you responded and said, well, do you think you'll be ready early in the morning?
Oh, yeah.
And then
We have our schedules are a little different.
Yeah.
Like in terms of rising and sleeping.
Yeah. And yeah, you like to get up really early and like
I like to just go.
Yeah. And I'm like, I want to do my morning routine and sit in the sun and then do some work. And then,
I'm like up on a mountain by that time.
Yeah. Like 8 a.m.
Working with that is definitely. So what were you saying to that?
So we brought up what would that look like living in another country and our schedules being mismatched.
Right.
And I think
kind of out of fear of like, are you going to move across the world to just like not be with each other?
Yeah. So
was it like that?
Yeah. Yeah. I think for you, it sounded like after we got to the bottom of it, but maybe it's this similar energy where like, if he goes into freeze, then I go into fight, like in business mode.
So what was the?
Let's just kind of play with it right now.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So let's go back into the Bali conversation rather than try to recall it.
Yeah.
And re-enter the conversation, and we'll see if tension comes up. Maybe there won't be any tension, but I just want to, for people, I think it would be beneficial to see how the two of you have a conversation about Bali and the waking and sleeping times.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'll help out if
outside. It's really windy here. Yeah. So
no worries.
Hello.
Hey, babe.
Okay. Was it you that started the conversation?
I don't know, but I was like, I've just been thinking about, like, I really want to move to Bali. I know we both do.
Yeah.
Right?
I'd love that. I feel so excited about that.
Yeah, like we're so ready to just charge, get out of here.
Yeah.
Start something new, right?
Start something new.
Yeah. I am feeling a little bit of trepidation, tension around some things. Are you open to hearing it out?
This is normally how we talk. Yeah.
Okay.
Yes, I'm open to it.
Okay. Well, so I know that, you and I have, our schedules are a little bit different for when we like to get up and go to bed. And I've just been feeling a little bit of tension around that. And I'm kind of scared about moving to a totally different country. And I don't know what it is about the schedule. Like missing you in the morning and like going and adventuring by myself. Like that kind of makes me sad. And I don't want you to change, like I don't. But I'm just wondering, and if I was really like to be in that moment when we were talking about it, it was more of a like that kind of the shutdown feeling. Like I can't go into it fully right now because I'm not in that space.
Yeah.
But it was more of a like, I don't know, like just the reactive, like, I just like, I don't know if I want to go do that right now. It feels like almost like just kind of like a waste. It's just like,
okay. Yeah. See, now I feel some tension coming up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, and we're having the conversation. Okay. Yeah. That makes sense to me that you feel like we know that our schedules are a little bit different, and that you're going to want to go adventure early in the morning when we're living in a different country. And it sounds like you feel some tension coming up, thinking about going and doing that alone, and us just having totally different schedules during the day.
Yeah. Oh, that's what it is. That's the tension. It's feeling like being kind of like held back from that sense of like going to do what I want to do, and feeling like I need to compromise that. Right. That's like the tension for me.
Yeah. Cool. I mean, not cool.
But yeah, no, but I don't like, I know we're good. So
yeah.
Keep going though. This is important. I want to see how you guys navigate this. And I realize that it's already been navigated somewhat, but what matters here is there's a pattern or I do think there's something that is valuable here. So keep going.
I didn't think, yeah.
Okay. So we'll just work it out real time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So
how do you feel about me bringing that up?
Yeah, I feel a little bit tense, and I'm noticing that I feel judged and a little bit attacked, and like,
oh yeah,
I like you're not like I don't feel accepted, but I understand that's not what you're saying. You're just speaking your feelings to me. So I'd like to understand a little bit more about what you mean when you say that you feel held back if I'm not coming with you, and tell me a little more about that.
Yeah, it's a great response.
Thank you.
I just recognize that I love doing stuff with you, and I have that in my head that I want to do more with you like that. And I think the tension maybe comes from that I'm feeling is coming from this place of what I was just explaining, right? The just like being ready, like right away, like just wanting to get up and go, get moving, and not having more of like a kind of a patience. And I don't want you to feel judged by that at all. I would like to know how to get through that so we can have like a great time all around, right?
Yeah.
Because this is definitely something, I mean, that
This
probably
is
is still like...
Yeah, this is probably the biggest thing that we are navigating at the moment.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate you saying that, and that we both want to get to just the highest outcome of feeling satisfied and connected, and like we're moving forward and getting done what we need to get done, but also just exploring and having that adventure. So
right.
If I'm hearing you correctly, you're saying that it's less about when I am not ready at the same time as you, you feel this tension of what is it for you that you're missing out, or that...
Yeah. I think it's like I don't know. I feel like maybe I need to slow down a little in the mornings or something. I also I guess it has to do with, you know, the space that we're in. It's like feeling like we've been living in a pretty small space together, and I have to generally like drive a half hour to get to my studio. And I've just been really wanting something different, like where I can just be in that home space, and it feels good. Like I have, you know, the space I need there. And I think that's like mainly part of the tension is like, I always feel like I have to kind of get up and go like out into, you know, just nature, just for like a sense of relaxation almost. Like a sense of like calming my nervous system and just getting grounded. So I guess the most important thing is just feeling like I have that, and like feeling like we are resourced in that space together, right? I mean, that feels like...
Yeah, that feels true for me too.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, it's good to understand a little more context too. Like you just, so I'm being sure to get you, is this the same... Are these the same feelings that come up for you, say, even in the little moments when like you come to pick me up and we have planned to like go for a walk, your desire is really just to feel relaxed and...
Yeah, right. Just not like, there's a Japanese word for it that I'm forgetting, but it's like you leave early enough to have time when you get to that place to like not rush into it, right? But to like kind of, you know, enjoy the scenery or whatever, and not feel like it's the last moments we're arriving. Yeah,
that makes sense.
I don't know where that came from. Like, what were we just talking about?
Yeah, it's okay. I have one more question.
Yeah.
Do you feel like, because you're talking about you want this relaxation and ease and you want to go out And I mean, it sounds like it's two things. One, you want to go out into nature and feel that relaxation and ease.
Yeah.
But then there's also this part of you that's recognizing that this desire to feel that at home.
Yes.
And
yes.
okay.
Right.
Yeah. Where do you feel like I come in there? Is it this relaxation that you want to come to with me in nature and with me at home?
Yeah, I feel it together, right? It's like, is an important piece for me. I mean, I know I need that by myself as well, which is obvious already.
Yeah.
But together, I think it's important. Yeah, I mean, what do you feel like do you have any suggestions?
Yeah, I'm curious, like, what would help you? This is helpful because it's helping me get to a deeper understanding.
Yeah.
Whenever like we make a plan, I'm kind of a busy bee, so I'm like doing a lot of stuff on my computer and I'm preoccupied a lot of the time, and then I'll kind of squeeze in time with you. I realize like I don't prioritize as much. I'm like having a realization here. I don't prioritize time with you in the same way that I prioritize my work and my clients. Like my clients need me, I'm like, I'm there. Or like I have a meeting, like I'm there.
Yeah.
And with you, I'm like, I'll be 5 minutes, I'll be 10 minutes. Actually, like, and I change.
Crazy.
And that probably makes you feel, I can imagine that makes you feel not.
We've never even like talked about this.
I know.
It's really crazy.
Wow. So
we have been working out together though.
That's been so helpful.
Which I've been.
We've been pumping so much.
Nice.
No, we have been doing the same workouts together.
Yeah. No, it's so rad.
Okay, so that.
Legs.
So you feel like when it's that's that simple. When I don't prioritize you, you don't feel prioritized.
That's what it is.
Wow.
Oh my God. That's actually, I totally was unaware of that.
Oh.
Thank you.
Yeah. That makes sense.
Yeah. That's definitely a big realization.
Yeah.
Yeah. Way to go, y'all. I'm not doing anything here. So y'all are figuring this out on your own. It's great.
Watch the couple coach themselves. No.
Right.
No, I mean like the space you hold out, it's just it's encompassing.
Mm-hmm.
It
so valuable.
allows for it.
Yeah. Okay, well, thanks for helping me get there and just.
Yeah, no, thank you for getting there with me.
Mm-hmm.
I have a question that isn't making sense to me yet. If I'm you, Anya, because you just had this insight together that he doesn't feel prioritized in moments, and yet he also said he feels trapped. That was so. I'm still not understanding. Maybe you are. Maybe you.
No, that's a great point.
Yeah.
I think it is both, right? Like this kind of priority that is, I think, like a deeper subconscious thing that I've been wanting. That trapped feeling stems from feeling like maybe that's not possible. So I have to just focus on what is the word? What is the doing it myself, right? Like meeting my own needs. So I'm just gonna stick with what works for me, which is just doing it.
Yeah.
But then there's kind of this resentment of feeling like or guilt to like I'm leaving you behind. There's not this, it's not a connective like moving forward. It's kind of like feels like moving apart more so than.
Can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
Just for clarity, like when because you just clarified, you feel trapped when your needs aren't met of me prioritizing you. We make this plan and then I'm like late oftentimes.
Right.
And I don't prioritize you. So then you have to, I don't know exactly how to frame it, but just be a little messy here. Like it's like your secondary, it's almost like you're settling for just, okay, I'll just go do it myself then, but then you feel this tension.
Yeah.
And it makes you feel.
So that's kind of the trapped feeling. It's just like stuck in a feeling, right? Of like, it's not necessarily trapped in a place, but it's like trapped in this kind of like body mind feeling that that feels tense, like it's stagnant.
You said that you feel like if you go, we'll just say like we plan a walk and then I'm like, okay, I'll be ready in 5, and then I'm like, actually something came up, why don't you just go by yourself? And you're like, okay. And then I'm like, well, I could be actually ready in a half hour. And then you're like, well, I'm just supposed to wait for a half hour then. So I'm like, just go.
Thank you for talking about this. I know that's probably...
I'm outing myself.
Yeah.
I'll do the work. So you said that you feel guilty for leaving, or that can come up for you. Is there anything else that is really present? Like, is there resentment of me or resentment of...
Yeah, I mean, honestly, that does come up, but it's, that's not the overarching feeling necessarily. I just like, what do I do, right? Like, in this moment, like, to make it work for myself and you, but I don't really feel stuck in resentment. I feel more stuck in like, what do I need to do to move forward and have it be feeling good for both of us, you know?
Yeah.
Hey, podcast listener, thank you for being a subscriber. If you struggle to work through conflict, you've read my book, you listen to some podcasts, and you're still struggling, I want you to come to a free class. It's called How to Resolve Conflict and Create Powerful, Lasting Relationships, so that you can have a better quality of life, be more fulfilled, feel more connected to yourself and your main person. Guys, conflict is the crux of any good high-stakes relationship. You have got to figure this part of relationships out. That's why I wrote an entire book about it. It's why I teach a lot about it. So come to the free class, and here's the URL for you, relationshipschool.com/resolve conflict. And I hope to see you in there. Hey y'all, I hope you have ordered my new book by now, Getting to Zero, How to Work Through Conflict in Your High Stakes Relationships. It's already getting dozens of 5-star reviews on Amazon. I've heard from a lot of you. Thank you for buying the book, buying it on Audible, buying it on Kindle. I really appreciate it. Really appreciate the support. I think this book is going to help a lot of people. It's all about how do we get back to a good place after some kind of disconnection or rupture or conflict. That's what the entire book is about. And if you want a roadmap on how to get back to a good place, what I call zero, please order my book. GettingToZeroBook.com. Get you some extra goodies, a conflict quiz, some additional PDFs, etc. And you can order it in all the places and support your local bookstores. Anya, is he feeling in those moments? Do you imagine he might feel alone? And also he's going to go adventure partly because he's reacting. Like, just try to get him here. I really want you to understand what his experience is like.
Yeah, thank you. Do you want me to reflect, like I imagine? Okay.
Or whatever you're kind of picking up on. Those are some ideas over here, but
yeah. So when I don't prioritize you and I prioritize work over our plans.
I mean, the thing though is, can I just interject a little? Mm-hmm. Like, work is definitely a priority. It's not like
it's totally a priority. It's like right. And to be fair, Bodhi is very spontaneous, and like if we have a window, he's like,
I have like, intuitive prompt. Let's go.
Yeah, let's go to the beach like an hour before your next session or like whatever, So, but in those moments when I'm just kind of preoccupied and I don't follow through with my commitment of like, let's go do this that I agreed to, it sounds like you feel alone, you feel guilty, and like there's maybe just this confusion, not knowing if you should stay or go, and that causes an internal tension.
Yeah, like the kind of reactive, like, fine, I'm just gonna leave.
I'm like, all right, go. Bye.
But you're not.
No.
You're not.
Yeah. No, I do feel guilty then too. And I'm like, it does cause tension. So
Yeah.
yeah.
And I don't feel like we get stuck on those things. It's kind of like it just like it does like add up though, right? It's like why we're talking about it right now. It's like it
Yeah.
like it happens you know, kind of consistently. I don't know.
Yeah,
It's not
it
so
does.
I'm trying to see, like, for me too, you know, I am very spontaneous
Yeah.
and my schedule kind of allows for that a little
Yeah,
more, right?
yeah.
Like the career I've chosen.
Right.
It's a little
As
different.
a prolific painter. Totally. Yeah, I get you.
But yeah, so I think I feel some guilt on that too. Like, dang, maybe I have like too much free time,
Yeah.
you know? And like then like what do I need to do to fill it up? But
Yeah. We talked about this too, I think.
right, yeah, we did.
Is that cool if I bring more context to it?
Yeah,
When we were
whatever's
talking about-
relevant.
Awesome. Going to Bali, a realization that we had was, I kind of reflected back like, oh, well, would you still want to go out and adventure if like you also had your own space to just like be and dive into your work? Because I think like what I've observed about you as part of going out is that you find the inspiration, and
Totally.
it is like work for you because you're going out, you're painting out there.
I'm taking field notes.
Yeah, he's researching.
Yeah, he's researching. Yeah, and oftentimes
Engaging.
I mean,
Yeah.
yeah, but it's like you were saying, you just want to feel this sense of safety and security, and just there's also like a relaxation to it. And I've noticed that when you go out into nature, you get a lot of calm and like great.
Yeah, I get clarity, right? It's totally regulating for me. I think for most people. And so it is priority for me, right? To be like outside most of the day, whatever the weather is. Yeah, I mean, I don't know where we were just going.
I kind of lost
you. Sorry.
No, it's all good.
Well, let's come back to the original inquiry about Bali, because I think it's relevant. Is one of the concerns you've identified is the tension between risings and sleepings or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Waking up and like see if you can make sense of that. Like if you go to Bali, which sounds like it's going to happen, how are you going to really consider each other
Yeah.
in the morning?
Totally.
Because I think you both want to feel connected to each other during the day, whether you're together or not.
Yes. Yes.
Right. So what's keep going. Keep trying to figure that out.
Okay. Yeah, so let's just imagine we're in Bali. We have like a 2-bedroom there where we have a sleeping space in a backyard. We can both, we just have space. Right now we're living in like, it's a tiny home, but it is very tiny. It's 100 square feet.
Couple hundreds.
Nice. 100 square feet.
Yeah.
It teaches you.
It is such a testament of like, we've really had to work it out.
It down.
We have it down.
And there's no space to stay in conflict.
Yeah,
Right.
quite literally.
Yeah. One room.
1 room, 4 corners. So just imagining that we have that space and we have that room where it's like your studio or your office where you're able to do your work, but we're able to be like in the same house together and like both focused on what we need to. I can imagine, like, I know for me, I feel a sense of ease. Just, I mean, I like knowing that you're around, but at the same time, I do value that space of like you going out and then coming back.
You love your space. I love my space. Like, it's very valuable to us. And I think to most relationships, like having space, a lot of you are too. So.
Yeah, but I think it just, I'll speak for myself in terms of prioritizing you there, assuming that we're going to have more space to then for ourselves, and also it'll just create more relaxation in the space between us. So all the space.
Yeah. Less tension.
Less logistical, like you do this, I do this, carrying this.
Yeah. More, I feel like that allows for more of an open kind of like, open space allows for more of an open schedule together. Like, not so like, I have to go out there and do this, and you have this space now, and
right,
we have it at this time, and
totally.
It's more coming together when the time is right versus choo.
Right. That's what I was going to say. Like, that makes sense. Exactly. I think I want to prioritize you by once we have those 2 bedrooms and just way more space to be in our own beings.
Yeah.
Maybe we do, like, I would like to commit to like having breakfast every morning.
Yeah, like together, like doing those things together.
Yeah, or like I like make you dinner.
Yeah,
we switch off. We're pretty good at that. Like sometimes I'll make them dinner. But I think just having that connection time where we do something, whether that's like we do massages or we watch a movie or
we haven't had a lot of that. Like
it's
been very like super sporadic just because we're trying to like move forward together, but also like in our own, our own businesses, our own.
Yeah. We have like our routines. It's like we have our routines next to each other, but we're not, I know for me, I'm not really like prioritizing you as a part of my routine. I just know that you're kind of there, which.
And they're just like not really synced, right?
Yeah.
So they don't necessarily need to be, but just more space for them to not be.
Let me ask you a question here. I want to acknowledge a couple things. One is I'm still tracking that Anya at some point, Bodhi said she feels a little judged.
Oh yeah.
So I just wonder if there's something you can do, Bodhi, that would have her feel less judged. Not that you are judging her, but that's just what came up for her. And then when it comes to Bali, the inquiry for me is, how can you, and we can get to this second, how can you start your day in a way that both of you feel considered?
Well,
and you're still true to yourselves as individuals, right?
Yeah, that's like really great. I honestly, I would love to, can I maybe hear, I can speak to that for sure. I also recognize that I'm really like, I was looking forward to this to like get a little bit of like insight from you on certain things. Do you have, would you mind speaking to that, or do you want me to kind of go into that a little myself first?
Yeah, let me possibly here in a minute. But why don't we first, let's back up to the first thing I said, which is just you want to just check out the feeling judged thing.
Yeah.
Just to see if there's anything she needs there or that you can do differently in the mornings.
Yeah. Well, can I ask you like where does that come from? That feeling?
Yeah. Yeah, I think that the feeling that it's like the story that I make from the feeling is really just like, if I tune into it, it's just a feeling of not being enough. Like I didn't do enough. I did the wrong thing.
I noticed that, right?
Like,
I noticed that.
And then I make the story of like, I'm doing so much, but I'm not enough, which I definitely know where that comes from.
Right.
But I think,
I can relate in my own way. So I understand that feeling.
Yeah,
definitely. Yeah. So,
and Bodhi, do you understand what you're doing that could trigger that feeling? That's what you want to get.
Yeah, that, let me just look at it for a second. I
don't know if it's necessarily sorry to interrupt. I don't know if it's necessarily in the mornings.
Yeah.
It's that tension where we plan on something. I'm like, never mind, I got to pivot. And then that, the way that something that you do, then I'm like, I did the wrong thing.
Right. It's not really like my response would be more of a reaction to that and not soft and more of like a kind of like a harsh, like protective layer over myself. Kind of just trying to like, do you feel like it's that? Like it's like a reaction to, have you like witnessed that specific reaction? Like, do you see it? Because I think I'm a little less clear of what it is.
Yeah. I think when I make that pivot and then when I voice to you that I need to do something else,
or you need more time,
yeah. I don't experience you oftentimes being like, no problem, you have all the time in the world, which is not the response I want. But I think when you are like, it's like, it's like, okay, sure, I'm going to wait 15 more minutes. Or no, here it is. I'm like, I'll be ready in 20 minutes. You're like, okay, so an hour. And I'm like, oh my God, I'm so mad. And I'm like,
gnarly.
But it's true. And then I'm in my brain, I go, all right, cool, I have an hour.
Yeah. Oh my God. It's like,
but then
it is a law of attraction with that. I'm literally speaking it into existence.
Yeah, you're gonna, and then sometimes I'll find him and be like, no, it'll be 45 minutes. And he's like, okay, so an hour.
It's like giving you, I hear that, instead of just kind of like giving you more so the trust that it's like just letting myself kind of open up a little bit and be like, okay, like I'll just, you need that space to feel good. Right.
Yeah, thank you. It's that, like, I trust you. Okay, you're going to make this commitment to you or to me.
Yeah.
You're telling me 20 minutes. I trust that you're going to follow through.
Yeah. Right.
That is what I would want. But I think that's something that we can work on, is that
definitely
maybe you don't trust me, actually, that I will commit to that and follow through.
You know what? I know this is a subconscious thing that I've, brought into this from one of my parental figures. So just like you brought that, what you were just speaking to from the same gender father or, parent figure.
I don't love our...
That's so interesting.
Yeah, that is interesting.
Do you feel good about what we just talked about?
I do. I'm wondering if when it does come up next time, well, I'm going to do some work in myself to really see how I can actually prioritize that time given my needs during the day and my schedule.
Yeah, and like how I could help you too with that, and how we can work on it together.
Yeah. Do you feel like it's possible if we go into that, we're stepping into a kind of a new dynamic if I tell you, if it does come up that, I'm running a little late,
it's just as important for me to, step into this new, it's a new awareness around it.
Yeah.
Which would be like not giving you anything backhanded or just kind of like snarky.
Yeah.
Just more of a respectful, like a mature response, right?
Yeah. Do you feel like you could, tell me how you feel? Like, it actually make me feel better if I was late and you were like, I feel kind of bummed, but I will wait for you. That would feel so much, I feel way more at ease and like able to actually get a move on it. Or could you just say, I actually know it's that. I think just if you speak to your actual
truth and feeling about
it. And do you feel like it's possible to trust me that I'll hold you in whatever feelings you have come up?
That's definitely a big part of it, right? Is like trusting that. So I definitely want to work on trusting that and like noticing those moments super, just with that awareness.
Yeah.
Like noticing when that comes up.
Yeah. Yeah. I think
to play the new part and not keep going back into that it's just old story.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly.
Does that feel, is there anything I could say to kind of just like solidify that we're going to do it in a different way?
Yeah. No, I think that's good. I'm just kind of thinking about the dynamic and having new awarenesses around why and how I feel tense and just like where that comes from. And there's just like the micro interactions, right?
Yeah.
Of like,
it really is a lot of like micro.
Yeah. Like if you collapse, you're like, ugh, then I'm like, fight, respond. Like, you're judging me. Like, I don't even want to go with you. Then like, go do your
thing. Instead of just like, I don't feel like really respected right now. Or I don't feel like the trust has been met, and I'm just going to feel this for a few, and let's like work through it.
Oh God, that makes me feel so safe. I'm like, oh my God. Like it does make me want to, that makes me want to move towards you and really just understand where you're coming from, and it helps me to then take some accountability. And a lot of times I move through my day so fast, and I noticed I am kind of squeezing you in, and I want to make that time to prioritize you because our connection is really important to me.
Yeah, I love that. Thank you.
Yeah,
I can say the same. Thank you so much. That's awesome.
Nice.
Wow.
Sweet. Wow. Let me make a couple of comments here. I think I wouldn't use the word Bodhi. I don't feel respected, because I think she respects you. Yeah. Maybe it's your time. You don't feel like your time is being respected.
Yeah. Thank you for that.
That's important distinction there, because Anya doesn't strike me as someone who would disrespect you.
Totally different.
Yeah.
Right.
That's a good distinguishment.
Yeah. Just it's small, but I think that one matters. And I really like what she's saying is she needs to feel your congruency. Like if she senses frustration, the words actually help her relax.
Right.
Versus you overriding, being like, no, it's fine, or whatever, and kind of rolling your eyes as you puff away. It's like just saying, okay, impact over here. I'm a little frustrated.
Yeah.
And I can wait 30 minutes. And like, it's like, there's her timeline, and it's like, what are you willing to wait? There's what you're willing to wait. Am I willing to hang out for 30 minutes, or am I really itching to get out?
Yeah.
So you have your own timeline. There's her timeline. That you've got to navigate that together. And then something Ellen taught me that I feel like is relevant here is leading with empathy. So Anya, something you could do potentially before you pivot, or after you pivot rather, or as you're pivoting, is try to anticipate a reaction from him.
Okay.
So like, hey, honey, I've got it. You know what? Something came up. Versus like you were saying, and you might be doing this, but I didn't hear it today. Like, oh, something came up. I can do 15 minutes from now, or I'll meet you in an hour. You go by yourself. That's maybe how it was. Now it's, hey, something came up, and I can imagine that would be a little frustrating for you. Because that says you're thinking about yourself as I've got to pivot. That's all about you. I imagine we got to keep our partner in mind. I imagine this is going to be a little frustrating for you to hear, but I need 15 more minutes or whatever. Like then he's like, he doesn't have to fight for anything. And he's like, cool. She already saw my reaction. She already knows that this is going to be a problem for me.
Yeah. That's really valuable. Thanks, Jayson.
Yeah. How would that be to hear, Bodhi?
Yeah.
And just, you can overestimate too. Exactly. Like that, honestly, I think just like that space of just like, okay, I mean, you can set maybe a shorter time in your head, but give me a little bit more. I don't know. That's just kind of silly, but I feel like that is something for me too, like that would help me just sink into that is like, okay, knowing you're being like realistic with what you actually need to do, and not trying to please me in any way.
Yeah, I hear you. That's definitely something I've done in the past where I'm like, the numbers don't match up with what my intention is.
And I get it. It comes from that not feeling like I'm going to accept that, or that it's just going to be, so I understand where
he's here now too, right? You don't have to worry about keeping him around.
That's true. Yeah. Yeah, that's true. It's like,
that's a huge piece.
There's subtle things one partner does if the other partner's got one foot in, one foot out. They'll accommodate in a way that they wouldn't if the person's totally there, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I've noticed that changed a lot too.
Yeah. Yeah, I feel like I kind of have swung the other way where I'm like, you just go, I don't care. Like, I know you're going to come back. I'll see you later tonight. But I think just implementing that time together, and it's going to be really valuable. And I hear how me overestimating just to be sure that I can meet the timeline and follow through, do whatever I need to do in my being so that I can show up for you and make you a priority.
Thank you.
Yeah, nice. And Bodhi, what's going to help her make you a priority is you leading with empathy with her.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So the statement is, I would kind of pull this out of you over time, but just for time's sake, since we're about out of time here, I'll just give you a couple options.
Thank you.
Her high value is work, right? She cares about her clients and her work, and you wanting to get up and kind of roll out butts up against that, her morning and how she wants to do it, and also her client time, her work. So you leading with empathy is, hey, I know I really want to go on this walk, hike, whatever. I want to charge out an adventure. And I can imagine you want to just relax and ease into your morning or do your work or whatever. And I imagine it might be a little frustrating for you that I kind of want to pull you out of your pace or the things you want to do to come with me. It's something like that. I don't know exactly if that's it, but it's something like that, right?
Yeah.
It's more spontaneous.
Yeah. Yes. Right.
If I have a full day, but you're like, let's see if we can do something in between.
Push it in, right?
Yeah, that's really helpful for me to hear, because then I feel seen. I feel seen that what I am prioritizing, because the feeling is like, oh my gosh, I'm not prioritizing anything. I did the wrong thing. But if you're already saying, hey, I know this is priority for you.
Right. Yeah. Just like the acknowledgement of seeing that you are doing a lot, and you're in your power when you're doing it. So you don't want to come out of that.
Yeah. Element.
Saving the world.
Yeah. She's over there kicking ass, and you want to be like, hey, this is, you're impacted. She's impacted by you. She doesn't want to feel judged. She wants to feel honored.
Right.
But the tension is, back to my question is, how do you both be true to yourselves and how you do it as an individual, and be considerate of the impact and the other person's feelings when you do it that way?
Yeah. Yeah.
It's not easy, but you two, can handle that. Like, some couples can't handle that. It's almost too steep of an ask, but I'm pretty certain you guys can do it.
Thanks. I just wanted to add one more thing. Another revelation I'm having is leading, like you're saying, Jayson, leading with empathy, but also, and this might seem obvious, but I'm also it's clicking in my brain of leading with, hey, I can imagine this might be going on for you, versus leading with, hey, I've had a really stressful day. I can imagine you might feel stressed out too, but I've had and just prioritizing the other person first.
Yeah. Right.
Versus throwing in.
Yeah. All my stuff.
Yeah. Or for me, I'm I have all this stuff going on, because then it just kind of we get back to that place of, okay, she doesn't prioritize me. So I think
we're all stressed.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm going to make an effort to, if I am running late, just to lead with that and show you that I see your experience and
thank you.
Let you know.
That means a lot. Yeah. I'm going to definitely put in that thought and action towards, just those little things in those moments of just knowing that I honor you and just trusting you and showing you that you can trust me as well.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Wow. I can't believe we're here. This is nuts.
That's so great.
Yeah.
I was not expecting that.
I know. Good job.
Yeah.
Teamwork.
Way to go, team. Yeah, y'all are modeling how to be a team really well, and it's very sweet and inspiring. So thanks for giving all our listeners and people just oh, it can look like this. Yeah, it can look like this.
Yeah.
You two have a really sweet vibe together. It's really cool.
Thanks. Thank you so much. Yeah, it's definitely been a journey to get here. We're very grateful. I'm very grateful we're here. I know we've wanted to get here for a while, and
we have. And I just feel it's an easeful landing too. I know from in my mind, I was when are we going to cross this threshold, if ever? It's going to be this boom, kabow, it's different. And it's really interesting to reflect that actually it was in me stepping back and prioritizing myself that I created the space for you to step forward.
Yeah.
And then it's we turned the other way and started walking down the path together versus this big thing happening.
Right. Instead of just
it can be, it can be easy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That should be the core, is always prioritizing. yourself and not.
Yeah.
Yeah, nice. That's great. Would you be willing, both of you, just before we stop, just to say, if you had advice about your journey as an individual in this relationship, what would you each, if you had one piece of advice to say to the listener, especially in relationship to kind of what you have struggled with, what would you tell the listener here?
You want to go first? Hang on.
Yeah,
That's a great question, though.
yeah, that is a good question. I can go first.
Yeah, we
Okay.
have something. Go.
Yeah. I would say to all the people out there that don't feel prioritized in their relationship or are feeling this feeling of chaos and being lost and confused, that anchor that you're looking for outside of yourself, actually, as cliche as it sounds, exists within you. And you just have to make that declaration that you won't abandon yourself anymore. And that will shift the pattern in and of it. Because just you declaring that you're going to be there for you, like you're going to be there for that little person in you, that little girl, that little boy, you actually have the power to shift your whole relational dynamic. And it doesn't come from sourcing it externally. It actually, you are the one in power. I'm saying that's the biggest advice, is remember that you are the one in power. You just have to turn inwards and trust yourself.
Love
it.
Yeah.
Great.
So go ahead.
Yeah. Gosh, if I had one piece of advice, I think I would circle back to what I brought up in the beginning around just deciding, choosing, and sticking with whatever that is. And if it's the wrong decision, then it's still better than not making a decision. And I think it's really, from my experience, it's really empowering to just experience that you are the one with the choice and the ability to choose and direct your mind, not have your mind direct you back and forth down all these paths, but you get to choose your path. And that's exciting. Like, it's really exciting to experience having that choice and sticking with it. So
love it.
Choose it.
Choose it, people.
Choose it.
Yeah. Well said. So good. Because if you don't choose, you're not learning anything, right? It's like you said, the wrong choice, at least you're learning. Right choice, you learn. In no choice, that's learning.
Totally.
Yeah.
Indecision killed the rabbit. Right? Back and forth across the road, not making a choice. So,
right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, thanks, you two. Really appreciate your vulnerability and just rawness and just sweetness.
Yeah. Thank you, Jayson.
Thank you so much.
That was great to talk to you again, man. Good to see you.
Yeah. Yo. As you know, I've dedicated my life to helping people with their relationships, right? I want to solve this problem so that all of you can work through your differences and have fulfilling, amazing, badass partnerships and relationships, family, coworkers, friends, whoever. And I have trained a ton of relationship coaches, almost 100 certified relationship coaches, to help you specifically work through your relationship challenges. So I want to invite you to a special deal we're offering to the podcast listener, where you can get 50% off your first month of coaching with one of our amazing relationship coaches. Okay, if you're tired of therapy, it feels like that's going around in a circle, or you want to actually set goals and accomplish your relationship goals, hire a relationship coach. Okay, go to relationshipschool.com/get coaching now, and then use the coupon code FIRST50 to get the 50% deal off your first month of relationship coaching. Super psyched to have our amazing coaches serve you and help you get to the next level.